Day, and today what we're going to do is wow, that was really good English first thing in the morning. We had to pull an audible this morning. Our guest unfortunately was unable to make it at the last second, but we got some pretty cool videos of an interview we did in the past with the guest, and we're going to actually run that for you in just a second, y'all. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. Well, DJ, we're going to have a little bit of a mix today, brother.
Good morning.
Producer.
It's going to be, it's okay. We'll make this flow, but good morning, everybody. Holy cow.
Brother, we always seem to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight and come out on top. It's all
Listen,
good.
We got this.
Good old Batman quote. Also, Lisa takes victory again 2 weeks in a row on Mr. Jeff Dickinson. Richard, Richard actually took a day today, didn't he? This week, didn't he? Didn't Richard take a day this week?
Yeah, he did.
I think he did.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? The weeks are going into the days. The days are going into the months. I don't even know. It's like I cannot believe we are almost done June. Like that is crazy.
It doesn't even make sense.
Here's the thing. I saw a post yesterday, and this guy was posting in the end, and I should actually reach out to him and see if we can get him on a Thursday or something. So he was taking a picture of him in front of his truck, and he was saying, everyone's complaining about gas prices, everyone's complaining about this, complaining about that. He goes, I put $210 in my F-150 Raptor today. I went and had 2 meetings, closed 2 deals, and landed over $500,000 in business. Today was a great day. And I was like, you know what, my friend, you are absolutely right. Like there's so much, gas is so high, gas is this. And what about, the posts and the overall feeling in January? Do you remember that? Like leading up to January, crazy how it's all positive, right? Hey, what's going on for the new year? What's going on? What's happening? Yes. And then that kind of dies off. I remember putting a post out just towards the end of Q1 saying, okay, so you're at the end of Q1. Where are y'all at? Like, here's all these awesome posts from December and January. Like, I'm going to come out. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get that done. And now we are here at the end of Q2 with literally, 2 weeks left in Q2?
Yeah.
And the question becomes, are you 75% towards your goal? And today's conversation, and I know we got some comments coming in where Richard says, yes, sir. Richard said, yeah, he did win. See, I thought Richard won one this week.
Yes.
What we wanted to do is, because Renee Godefroy is an amazing individual that really helps companies and teams build better bonds and create dynamic future growth. And so part of the conversation that we're going to have today is I'm going to play some videos from when I interviewed Richard. Gosh.
You guys are going to love this.
Yeah. It's actually going to be. But so I interviewed Richard probably 2010, 2011. Okay. So we're talking like 11 to 12 years ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a video, listen to the things that Renee talks about, and then DJ and I will kind of share about it. And I figure that'll be a pretty cool interactive way.
Yeah. So let's do it.
How to pair? No, it's okay. Okay, so let's start with this one. This is, what is a why and why do we need it? Here we go.
Ooh.
You talk about an individual's why. And the big thing is, what is a why and why do we need it?
I think it was one of the German philosophers. I think it was Goethe who said, if you have a why that is strong enough, you can bear anyhow, right? Now, let's look at it this way. The why is the engine, is the power that is behind you to keep you going when you begin to meet obstacles, when you begin to face tough challenges and you want to give up and you want to walk away from either your job or your business or something you invested so much of yourself and time into, and then you want to give up, your why is what will actually propel you. Let me give you an example. For me, when I decided that I was going to become a motivational speaker or a keynote speaker in this country, I had many times I wanted to give up because learning English and trying to make it, I don't have any college degree or any connections, any friends that I went to college or high school with. So it was going to be really hard for me to make it in this speaking business. But the main reason is I wanted ultimately to become a humanitarian. I wanted to be able to go to villages in Haiti, like my village and many other villages, to be a voice for those children, to help them, to be the light at the end of the tunnel for them, so that they don't really give up, so that they know that they are created equal, just like anybody, that as long as they keep pressing on, ultimately they have a chance of making it or succeeding in life. So that's what ultimately, so when I get to a point, I wanted to really give up on the speaking thing because it wasn't working out when I first started. I remembered my why. And the why is the one that really inspired me to wake up in the morning to say, you know what? I have to get on the phone. I have to go attend the networking events. I have to call on more people, talk to people, and send postcards and send letters. And all the things that I was doing, it was because of my why. That is the reason why we all need a why that is powerful and strong enough to keep pushing us forward in life. Why do I want to do this thing? Ultimately, that's the key.
See, I forgot how powerful that was. You know, Scott even says, good morning, Scott, by the way, brother. Scott even says that's all I needed. So, and did you notice the big thing about that? And it's also something that Brian talked about back when we had our all-day stream in December. You're always going to do more for other people than you do for yourself.
Always.
You know, and our why, when it's tied, so like, oh, man, that brings back so many memories just hearing Renee go through that in conversation again. So if you looked at what Renee said, his big why was helping children in other countries, in his village in Haiti and that. So like helping be that light at the end of the tunnel for them. Those people need him to succeed. They need him to reach those heights to be able to help them. You know what I mean? And DJ, call it crazy, but that's the way I feel about every single prospect.
Yeah.
Is as a salesperson, it was like what drove me was there is a prospect out there that needs my solution.
Yes.
I just have to find them, because when I'm searching for them, they will come to me. And some people call it Pollyanna, but you know what? The fact is, if your why, like, you know, most people's why is their family. Right? Like I'm sure, you know, your family, every single part of your family is a why.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's parts of your family that aren't a why. It's a reality. I know it is for me. It's like, I think it needs to go deeper.
Yeah.
Not just your family. It's like, what is the thing you're looking at helping your family with? Right? Like, I know for me, my why early in my career was everyone told me I didn't realize my camera just totally went on like a 40-degree turn there. You know, everybody told me that, you know, you needed education to succeed.
Yep.
That was my why when I first started in this industry, was to pretty much prove everyone wrong and say, screw you to everyone. You know what I mean? For lack of a better term, full transparency, right? Like,
of course.
call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
But my why's changed over the years.
Yeah.
Did you find that? Like, did you find when you got into the industry, and all of you watching and listening, like, what is that really big why? Because in sales, we get stuff thrown at us all day long. And don't get me wrong, a lot of it is really fun because I believe the sale begins when there's a no. So it's like, all right, we're on, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
But for some people, they go home beat up.
Oh
They
yeah.
go home exhausted. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I seen so it's crazy that we started with that question because I just seen a post. I want to say it was on LinkedIn. I don't remember where I seen it, but it said like if you want to really get to the deep core of why you're doing something, ask why 7 times. So
7
ask why
levels deep is what I call it. Yeah.
is that okay?
That it's actually part of Inception where we go 7 levels deep.
Okay, there's where I see
why.
it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and why, and then you go
Yeah.
deeper why, and then
Yeah.
your why until you get really down to 7 layers deep, and you're like, okay, that's why I'm doing this. That's what
Yeah.
this is for.
Yeah.
And
So
when you
for
get,
everybody watching and listening, DJ brought up a very valid point. So you first start and ask, why do you want success in your career?
Mhm,
And then that answer, you take that answer and you drop it down a line and go,
exactly.
why do you want that? Then you take that answer, drop it down another line. You say, well, why do you want that? And you keep going down 7 levels deep and you ask it 7 times. And probably 99% of the people I've done this with, there's tears, there's a huge light bulb, and there is a drive and a force that comes out of that
Oh yeah.
process, that
Because once you get to
structure.
that core of why you're doing something, you're like,
Yeah.
okay. And to his point, I mean, when your why is so big, there's no how that can stop you. It's just I'm
Well,
gonna do
they've
it.
often said it.
I'm
You
gonna
could read
do
it in a
this.
million different personal development books. Your why has to be bigger than the obstacles. And when your why is bigger than the obstacles, you have the ability to succeed and to hit that, version of success that you see, whatever you see as success. But your why has to be bigger because
Yeah.
every single success, regardless of what it was in life, has hit massive obstacles on the way. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
if you will, it's when. And when you do, that why will be the defining factor that gets you out of bed in the morning. There's people out there that have had horrible things happen to them. Why do they get up in the morning? Right? Why do they go to work? Why does the single mom work 3 jobs? Right?
Yeah.
Like, think about these things. Why does a single dad work 3 jobs? Why do we, perfect example. I can't tell you how many times we were up at god awful hours to drive to hockey. Why do we do that?
Well, yeah.
Right? And so many of us walk through life without ever figuring that out. It's just, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. No, because you can do it, and then you can do it with authority.
Yeah.
And you can do it, and you can do it with the ability to leave a legacy. As small as those legacy points might be, we can do everything with that. Why do you serve that customer at the highest level? Right? And huge. Jeff said a few weeks back on a show that I've been using the 5 why rule for 3 decades in solving business and personal issues. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Hey.
Good. We haven't seen
really,
you on here in a while. West Coast, another West Coaster in the house.
yeah.
So that was the first one, creating your why.
Oh, I love it.
Should we jump to the second one, DJ?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Renee, what do you believe to be the main reason why most people never achieve their greatness?
For me personally, I think the main reason is there's a mismatch between what they say externally that they want to do, what they tell people, and on the other hand, what they say to themselves intrinsically, internally. So to say that I believe I can succeed, I believe that I can explode this business is one thing. But when you are by yourself in your head and you are trying and things are not working out for you, you don't have the resources, the capital, the manpower, do you really believe it internally? So until you can take what you say externally and match it with what you say to yourself internally, which means you have to really believe that I can do this. All right. Another thing also is the habits. So we have habits that are really in disharmony with the things that we say we want to accomplish. Because we say we want to make $1 million in sales, yet we wake up in the morning and we start reading the newspaper or watching television or calling friends on the phone. We do everything to avoid being on the telephone to call people. So that tells me that, okay, so the habits don't match with exactly what you want to do. So businesses every day, when they owners and people, when they wake up, is begin to look at your habitual, the things that you do every day. What are your habits? And then if you do not change those habits, everything that you say you want is just an illusion. You'll never really get those things because you are not practicing the right things every day. And finally, let me say you need a team, because without a team, you are not going to be able to succeed. We can look back even in the Bible. The first thing that the Bible, if you're a Christian, okay, you know that Jesus, the first thing he did, he put a team together. The big corporations like IBM, and they have a board of directors. So we see small businesses and we see people generally trying, but they don't really have the support. They don't really have a circle of influence around them, people who are going places to encourage and pick them up. So I think those three things we really need. We really need to check out, what do I really believe internally? I know I say I want to do this, but when I hit an obstacle, do I really doubt myself? Do I really say, hey, maybe I don't have enough knowledge? Maybe I'm not going to make it, all right? Or do I continue to talk myself into doing it? And so the second one is to change your habits. And finally, the third one is to have a team of people who can help and support you along the way.
This is just flowing so well. And I'm not even just kind of clicking on the next one. So huge thing, right? To everyone watching, listening live now or on the replay, I think this is probably one that hits most people right in the heart and gives them that pain that we like to think we're moving forward, but Renee hit it on the nose. Do your habits, what you do daily. Remember Emerson's quote, "What you do screams so loud I can't hear a word you say."
Yep.
And that quote, I think, is probably the biggest reality check ever. You want to be the greatest salesperson. What are your actions to do that? Are you avoiding the call? Are you avoiding learning new tricks and strategies? Are you avoiding the education piece that we need? Are you avoiding prospecting? Are you avoiding trying new things? I think it's something we really need to ask ourselves.
Yes.
And say, do my habits, sorry, SIRI just jumped in my ear there, went, do our habits match our vision? Do our habits match what we write down? Do our habits match what's coming out of our mouth? The proverbial, don't write a check your ass can't cash kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think from that? What did you take from that?
Exactly what you took. I mean, I think, yeah, it's, I get, yes, yeah. There's only one way. If we lie to ourselves to get to this end goal of being a really great salesperson or really amazing in this or whatever we're going for, there's one route. There really is. And there's certain habits that all those people have. And they do, making so many calls, doing so many trainings, investing in themselves to learn more. I mean, there's so many things that you have to do. There is no, it takes what it takes. It just takes what it takes to get to a certain level. And those habits, if we don't check those daily and really, again, just the data, we take a lot of information down and are always checking ourselves. But I think that's where, you're either on the tracks or off the tracks. And a train doesn't move when it's off the tracks. And so, I mean,
another piece of that you just said, DJ, that's I think super, super important is I think we've all done stuff in a day where we've convinced ourselves, like we've rationalized to ourselves, which is just rationing lies to ourselves, that it was productive, that it helped us move forward when it really didn't. And that is critical. And the last part of what Renee said that I think just is absolutely mandatory is a team around you. I've had teams around me that have been awesome. Majority of the things I've done, I've started on my own with that mentality of, well, I just got to get it done and I'm not waiting for anyone. And I've realized over the years that they start off a lot slower. Like you can blow it up huge with the right people around you. And that goes back to reverse engineered logistics. Get the right suppliers around you right from the start and watch how fast you excel. The right team. I've met individuals alone, nightmare, but just know how to assemble a really good team and have done incredible things. And, not only that, right? You're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most.
Yes.
And if you don't hang around with anybody thinking you're going to do it on your own, I mean, listen,
it's impossible. Let me tell you,
people that have done it. There's people that have done it.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
And they've achieved like success, right? Whatever their version of it is. But I think that bar is 10 times higher, and that gap is teamwork. And you got to bridge that gap, right? Having a good people around you, even if it's just 5 mentors.
Yeah, just you gotta have a core group. You for sure have to have a core group that's always pushing you up.
Well, that's why there's these coalitions. That's why there's these trade shows. That's why there's all of this, because it's mandatory.
Yeah.
And all I would say to anyone watching, listening, just be honest with yourself. Like, do your habits match your goals?
You don't have to answer this to anybody else but yourself. But
and there's days where I sit back at noon and I go, whoa, hold on here. And I'm looking at my to-do and like what my day holds. And I'm like, why am I 20%? It's noon. I should be 75% towards, like, this is not this whole 75, this percentage thing. This is what I say to people. This is actually how I run my entire day, my week, my month, my year, my life. Is halfway, am I 75% done? So by noon, I want to be 75% done my main priorities of the day.
Your head.
And when I'm not, I'm like, okay, something's going on. And I stop and I take 20 minutes and I analyze my morning. And I'm like, oh my God, I got lost in app amnesia or scrolling,
Oh God.
And I'm terrible. Like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, man. And again, that brings me back to my why, because then I sit down and say, really, this person needed you on your A game today. You were on your C game this morning. You're nowhere close to achieve. And then that just like fires the engine up, stokes the flame, and I'm off to the races, right? But I think those check-ins, that reality with ourselves, I think is so needed. And that how many of us just walk through the day just never thinking of that. Like, what do you need to just fire you up? Because we get into the same old. There's days you wake up fired up. There's days you wake up, you're like, oh my God, you almost need an injection of caffeine just to like wake you up. Right?
Or the show. No.
Great plug, DJ.
This show helps. Well, I was just gonna say, because it helps me, but I was gonna go to another thing that really works, guys, too, besides even the 5 friends, but like just have one really close accountability. I mean, they use it for working out, they use it for work, use it for your life. I mean, have an accountability partner that just holds you accountable. Tell them what you're gonna do for the week, and then check in with them. And you either have to own it or not own it, even if it's just your wife, your husband, your partner, your whoever.
But DJ, go a step further. So if you have an accountability partner and you say, I'm going to do this week, map out what are you going to do every day? What are the steps every day you have to do to get where you need to go? I've got some calls coming up next week, some very big calls for a new company. And I've already written 2 pages for each call, just brainstorming on my own. So when I get there, it's like, okay, here's the intention. What do y'all think of this? What do y'all think of that? What about this? What about that? Because it's preparation, right? Knowing is half the battle from G.I. Joe. Knowing if your actions are connected to your why, to that dream that you have, knowing it, not just assuming, knowing it, having those check-ins, and giving yourself ample time. So, beginning of the week, you talk with your accountability coach, or on a Friday, you discuss the results for the week, plus what's going to happen next week. Where do you want to be at the end of the day, Monday? At the end of the day, Tuesday? At the end of the day, Wednesday? At the end of the day, Thursday? How do you want to be prepared for Friday? Like, must-haves, man. Must-haves. Yeah. Talking about preparation. That was a great transition into that.
Dude, that's so funny, because I was going to transition to that if you didn't. I was going to say, speaking of checking in, we should check in on that lane of the day.
That lane of the day, everybody. Loving this lane of the day, by the way. And to Christina and Dean, thank you so much for being so on it and giving us the data. So the lane of the day is a flatbed lane, actually, and it's from Houston, Texas to Bismarck, North Dakota. So line haul rates have remained relatively flat since April on this lane. Current rate is only 1 cent lower than the May average. So like month over month, we're talking 1% lower. So line haul rate per mile, $2.98, including fuel, is $3.87. The contract rate is $3.84. Year over year, it's a 24 cent increase year over year. So pretty flat. Remaining year over year, 24 cents compared to some lanes are up, $1, 80 cents, 60 cents. So it's relatively low on the increase year over year from 2021 to 2022, y'all. And that is the DAT lane of the day.
What lane was that one more time? Houston to
Bismarck. So Houston, Texas to Bismarck, North Dakota.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to have an outro for lane of the day. Lane of the day is ended, and maybe we'll get y'all to start jumping into rate.
I love it.
So now that we talked about that, now that we talked about your why, we talked about kind of the big 3 things that we need in order to help, like the reasons most people don't succeed, and also the things we need to help us succeed. A lot of that comes with change, doesn't it, DJ? It comes with change for ourselves. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about how do we prepare ourselves and our team to make change stick.
Now, back to this understanding as a business owner or manager. Typically, when we're adding something into the mix, it's change. It's different. Where, any business that's operating the same way they are today that they were operating 5 years ago is really going out of business. We know it's an ever-changing world. But how do we prepare our team for change, Renee?
Well, the first thing is, when we look at the word change, the first thing that must happen for employees is the word acceptance, right? They have to accept change. Because if they do not accept it, they begin to fight it, right? It's going to be a struggle to really get any buy-in. So don't come with a change process or a transition or something or a merger and then begin to dictate change. It doesn't happen that way. Now, you have to understand change creates fear. And people are afraid of what? The unknown, because they don't know what is going to happen. So the moment that they have fear, it's going to be very difficult. As a manager, a supervisor, it really doesn't matter. Even as a parent at home, if you have a child who's going to college, right? It's change for them because they're going to leave their house and they are afraid. They're going to face the unknown. They've never been away like so long from you, for so long from you. And so your job as a manager, parent, or supervisor is to find a way to alleviate or to reduce or to diminish the fear for them. And so say, honey, I went to college and it was all just fine. and I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to turn out. And it's the communication level. You tell them what's, always in the change. You keep communicating. Don't stay in the dark and try to have rumors and they don't know what's going to happen the next day. Just keep him, just as a leader, you just keep him posted and let him know what's going on and try to alleviate or diminish the fear for them. Anybody that can diminish fear for any individual, no matter where it is, right? It's almost like you come from the doctor and the diagnostic is not good at all. And you call somebody and they begin to have this conversation to tell you, well, I have a friend who's been through this and here's what's going to happen. Everything is going to turn out fine. Trust me, you will get, this thing will be behind you one day. You're going to be just fine. There are so many. So now what I'm doing is I'm diminishing your fear for you. And then you begin to feel calm, right? Another thing also, your employees, the people in the workplace, it was Einstein who said, Albert Einstein who said, the significant problem you are facing today cannot be solved at the same level you were at when you created the problem. So the problem, the challenge that is going on in your life or in your workplace right now, you cannot solve this problem by remaining who you are. So what do you need to do? You need to reinvent yourself. You need to become somebody you are not today in order to deal with that problems, right? So the manager also, again, is you'll have to really work with your team and then prepare them and help them reinvent themselves in order to enter this new change or in order to embrace this new change that they are facing in the workplace or in your personal life. It's the same thing. All change is change, right? We were conditioned, right, to actually deal with change. It's just like we selectively choose which change. I mean, we grow up, we become a certain age, we get married, we have kids, and we buy a house, we move out of the house, we get another one, we change job. This is all change. But some change that it's almost like we did not expect them, and we selectively choose to fight those kind of change. But it's all the same. It's acceptance, right? Hey, what was it? It was the Alcoholic Anonymous. I think they have a prayer. The prayer or something they recite. It says, God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, right? And to change the things that we can change. So if you cannot change what's going on, that's it. It's happening at the top level in the company or maybe in your life, or there's nothing you can do. So what do? You just accept it and just change what you can change and move on and press on.
Interesting, and I know we're short on time, but I mean, you hit some key things there as well, right? Like when it comes to change, like for everyone, DJ, it's the reason. How many times do we say context matters? Right? Like everything. If we're going to a prospect with or a customer with a new strategy, context matters.
Yep.
Right? Sharing the reason for the change, sharing what the outcome will be of the change will always allow a better response on the desired change that people are looking to make. Right? Like how many times have you had new or get into a new customer and it's like they've been doing the same thing for years and it's like, but I have a way better way to do this that I think would really help. And that change is scary because it is scary, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you get somebody that moves from a non-sales job to a sales job. That change is friggin' scary. You move from a really bad phone call to the next phone call. That change is scary. That thing is scary. And the change, the shifting in our markets today and in what we're doing as an industry as a whole, it's pretty scary, right? Even as much as starting to, big change, a lot of people, because we consistently say post about the industry and everything, and it's like they feel like they can't. So it's that change from the imposter feeling to the expert feeling,
That's tough.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That was a good one. I like that one.
That was different. Let us know, guys, if anybody's still out there. Let us know if you like that. But yeah, that was fun. I like the old videos. That was really cool. But...
Yeah, you know what? I I think my interview skills have gotten a little better over the years.
Oh, you're yeah.
I seemed like I was so
You're a
this
little
is-
more
this is-
comfortable now.
yeah, I think so. I think I was a little nervous, but this is back at the beginning when I first started connecting with people like Andrea Waltzes, Brian Byros, Renee Godefroy, Steve Rizzo. Next week, y'all, we have got a stellar cast for next week, and next Thursday is Steve Rizzo. He is a comedian. He wrote, he wrote a book called Get Your Shift Together. Such a great book. But he's going to be in next week. Amazing man, dear friend of mine. And we got some killer stuff happening next week. So make sure to join us. DJ, what do we got to take us out for today? Because tomorrow is wins and lessons, y'all.
Daman has a comment real quick, and I think next, but
if you want to change your life, you will need to change. Don't expect changes in life from the outside. It happens inside out. 1000%, brother.
Yes, Daman. And shout out
Maggie
to
says
Daman
loved it.
and Centurion Trucking and American Logistics for making this possible and for sponsoring us. Thank you guys. Thank you for everybody just joining us weekly like you do daily. Again, we try to put this stuff out there to just help you guys start your day right. Motivated, energized, ready to go, ready to take on the beating that you're about to take on. Life is not easy.
Come on, we're coming out like Tyson in his prime, baby. Nothing can beat
life
us
is
down
not
today,
easy.
brother.
We
That's
can't lie
it.
to ourselves. It never was, and never will be. But we try to do this to help. So again, since it will be a killer lineup with Freddie and Jason. Yes, they will be there.
Was that a Nerf quote?
That was a Nerf question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know,
You
I
don't
don't
have
even
to
have
go
to
there.
see the quote.
I
don't even have to see it.
I
know right away it'll be a Nerf
I
quote.
gotta read it. Shout out, Nerf. Thanks for joining. Again, thank you everybody, seriously, for joining us like you do and for making this possible. This really does help. Have a great day. Keep making those calls. Yes, Jeff.
Sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Again, Monday through Friday, Sales Chatter Live. Join us daily. Start your day right with us. Actually, throwing out one of our favorite guests, Steve Spiro. Shout out, Master Connector. This is a quote from him today, actually, on LinkedIn. Old ways won't open new doors.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion Trucking and start designing